According to the book of Genesis, the first man, Adam, was created with the ability to talk, and there is no evidence in the scriptures that he ever needed to learn a language at all, so we would assume he was created with the ability to understand one. Adam and his wife Eve populated the earth. Many would say by means of incest, although at the time there was no law against this, as marrying one's sister wasn't result in the same problems of genetic mutations as it was today. And the population grew rapidly. Later on, also in the book of Genesis, the population was reduced greatly when there were only 8 survivors of a deluge, one of them being Noah, who had been instructed by God to build an ark to protect his family and the whole horde of animals from this calamity. After the flood, Noah, his wife, his 3 sons and their wives moved back on dry land again, and the earth was repopulated from scratch. But the book of Genesis then later goes on to provide an explanation for the many languages spoken today on earth. One of Noah's great-grandchildren was a mighty hunter named Nimrod, who set himself up as king and ordered his people to build a city with a huge tower in it, so high that it would reach into the heavens. But God wasn't happy with what was going on here. He wanted the people to move out and live all over the earth. So he stopped what they were doing by suddenly causing them to speak different languages, resulting in them not being able to understand one another. Accordingly, their city came to be known as Babel, or Babylon, meaning confusion. And the people now began to move away from it, as God had planned groups of persons going to live together in other parts of the earth with those who spoke their language and thus could understand them. Of course, nowadays, many consider the book of Genesis to be nothing more than a fairy tale, and the famous evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins is no exception. In fact, he denies that universe and any life existing within it ever had a creator, so God in his estimation is nothing more than a fictional character. Although the book of Genesis would have us believe we've been speaking non-stop for the past 6,000 years or so, Dawkins contends it is impossible for scientists to ascertain at what point human languages began to develop. On the other hand, there is never any doubt in anyone's mind as to when computer programming languages began to develop. And it was towards the end of the 1940s when programmable computers first became available. The earliest computers were programmed in first-generation programming languages, which were simply the set of instructions needed to control the central processing unit. A code that was very difficult to debug and was not portable between different computer systems. This resulted in the development of assembly languages or second-generation programming languages, diverging from the earlier machine code to make programming simpler to understand for humans, although the portability was not increased. Later on, the introduction of high-level or third-generation programming languages revolutionized programming by being designed to express all algorithms that could be understood more easily by humans. Fortran, an abbreviation of formula translation, is often considered the first compiled high-level programming language. First invented in 1957, it has remained in use into the 21st century. Throughout the 60s, it and other programming languages operated by compilers were commonly known as autocodes. Another of these autocodes, COBOL, is an acronym for Common Business Oriented Language. It was first designed in 1959 as part of a US Department of Defense effort to create a portable programming language for data processing. It was initially seen as a stopgap, but computer manufacturers were pressured by the Defense Department to provide it, resulting in its widespread adoption. Nowadays, it is still widely used in applications deployed on mainframe computers such as large-scale batch and transaction processing jobs. In the second part of this discussion, of which there will be two, and possibly along with a third, I will delve more deeply into the development of high-level programming languages, touching upon the innovation of the home computer.